V-March Boxing, and I'm live with another boxing video. So, Matchroom boxing promoter Barry Hearn and Eddie Hearn has echoed his sentiments all along during this COVID-19. He wants Deontay Wilder and Kubrat Pulev, both guys who were challengers for the heavyweight titles held by Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, respectfully. Well, Barry Hearn wants Kubrat Pulev and Deontay Wilder both to take step-aside money so Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury can fight for a big fight for undisputed. Deontay Wilder's 42-1, one loss, one draw, 41 KOs. Kubrat Pulev's 28-1, 14 KOs. Both of them, like I said, are the challengers for the world titles held by Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. So the man Barry Hearn, he doesn't want to see Fury and Wilder 3, and he thinks it won't be able to take place because of the contract, and he feels that the fight won't make big enough money right about now, considering this pandemic we're going through. Barry Hearn says that Tyson Fury and Wilder 3 isn't a big enough pay-per-view, and it's probably because he thinks that the fans think it's just an easy fight, easy work for the man Tyson Fury, like he did in the rematch. You know what I mean? And basically, it's unknown right now. Everything's up in the air if there's going to be crowds allowed to, you know, go see these fights as far as attendance of the live gate especially in the United States for 2020. And even if there is, according to Barry Hearn, do fans really want to pay to see Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder 3? You know what I mean? I'll read you some quotes from the man Barry Hearn, and basically him refuting that the fight can't go on under the terms that they have as far as Wilder and Fury. He says, quote, "Do you want to see Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder by the terms they have already been agreed and signed on the previous contract?" The answer, no way. You can't afford it. The fight's not big enough. Number one, too much money. Number two, where's the income? Number three, can Allen, the various camps, the promoters, can they afford to do it? Do they have the resources to do it? The answer, no way. It's a bust. The fight is excellent. It's contracted. But realistically, does everyone get paid? Then you come across Pulev against AJ. Without a live gate, it's going to be a very low earning fight for the fighters. The promoters, the promoters forget them because there's one thing about Matchroom, which is unlike all these other operators, is we have reserves, we have resources. We can survive 10 years on lockdown. No one can survive for 10 weeks, but they're not in position to invest or speculate because they don't have the backup money. We do, but that doesn't mean we waste it. End quote. So that's Barry Hearn basically trying to tell Bob Arum and the PDC on how to run their business. You know what I mean? He's acting like he's concerned about their pockets if they're gonna make any money. You know what I'm saying? But I think he has his own agenda, and it's his agenda is to try and make a fight between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, and bypass Kubra Pulev, who's the mandatory for the man Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? But he does make some good points about. I do agree with him as far as the attendance. Can they make any money if there's nobody there to watch the fight, fighting in an empty arena? You know what I mean? Barbara's been talking about having to fight outside of the USA. You know what I mean? And he has potential countries or where to stage the fight between Wilder and Fury 3. But even if they do that, depends on where it's at, what time of day. Imagine if they do it in Saudi Arabia. Will the American fight fans or the casuals will they be willing to pay $80 for a pay-per-view for a fight at about 4 p.m. in the afternoon on a Saturday? Considering what they saw in the second fight, between Wilder and Fury. You know what I mean? That's a big question right there. So there's a lot of variables that go into what these guys are going to do next as far as Wilder, Fury, and even Kuba Pulev. But Kuba Pulev's adamant. He's standing 10 toes down. And he says he ain't taking no step aside money. You know what I mean? And Pulev and Wilder, according to the man Barry Hearn, will get nothing to step aside. And this is what Barry Hearn said. So, Pulev against Joshua, do they accept they're on a percentage basis and they're going to earn a lot less money? Does that make that fight less attractive? Maybe it does, and perhaps it does to both of them. Perhaps the better deal is to say to Pulev and to say to Wilder, never mind step aside money, by the way. You're getting nothing. Go and do the fight. Pay you for sitting on your backside, it isn't going to happen. But to pay you to sit on your backside while you wait for a fight against Joshua versus Fury with the guarantee of the next fight, it might all of a sudden look attractive. I'm only speculating, but when you put all these things in the mix, the one fight that you can see for loads of money where everybody gets paid and they get paid more than they were paid in their previous fights is Joshua and Fury. The common sense when they sit down, Fury, I'm getting X to fight Wilder. Do I get paid? You know the market's changed. Joshua, I'm getting X for fighting Pulev. That's a bit skinny. Why not throw all the dice out in one go? What about rolling? What about rolling that dice? Tyson thinks he can beat Joshua. Joshua believes he can beat Fury. They both know they're going to earn far more money on that fight than any other battle. It's relatively straightforward to put together. There's no danger under our matchroom boxing umbrella of no one getting paid. That might make a bit of sense. End quote. So those were Eddie Hearn's sentiments, basically saying, should Wilder and Fury step aside and not get paid anything? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Wilder and Kubert step aside and not get paid anything. No, but if there's an incentive that they can get the winner of the fight between Fury and AJ, then excuse me, then it makes sense. You know what I mean? Um, And Eddie Hearn, he believes that Wilder and Pulev may take the step aside Monday. And this is what he said, quote, I think it's less than 50-50, or it might be 60-40, end quote. Those are on the chances of Wilder and Pulev stepping aside to let Joshua fight Fury. Quote, if you tell Pulev in this new world you're only getting X, which is half of what you were getting, you're going to be disappointed and maybe you don't want to fight as much and maybe you're quite happy to wait. If you say to Wilder you've got an injury that's quite serious, you're not going to be around until October anyway. You can wait, or do you want to fight the winner and get a lot more money than what you were getting to fight Fury? If I was gambling on it, I think it's a 3-1 shot that Tyson Fury ends up fighting Joshua next. Common sense comes into it. I don't know what the deal is for Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. What I do know is unless they get extensive foreign interest, they've got to replace the gate virtually. They've got to accept lower income from broadcasters who are struggling. There's a lot of doubts in my mind. End quote. So as far as Wilder and Fury, Eddie Hearn has made some nice points, but then again, he's not in the business, especially in the states, of promoting fights. Eddie Hearn is trying to do his thing with Matchroom Boxing USA, but Matchroom Boxing USA have yet to do a pay-per-view in the United States. PBC and Top Rank, they've done numerous pay-per-views. Till this day, they continue to do pay-per-views. There was a joint venture between the PBC and Top Rank to stage Fury versus Wilder 2, the rematch. You know, Barry Hearn's talking about if Wilder and Fury and Pulev collect step aside money, it would be worth their time, and um, it would be a better payday than even if he fought, especially for Wilder, than even when he just fights Tyson Fury. If he takes step aside money and is guaranteed the winner of AJ versus Fury, but where does that leave Kubrat Pulev? You know what I mean? Everything you heard from the comments of Barry Hearn making it look like Kuba Pulev, you're like the fourth wheel that got a slow puncture. You got that's leaking air because anything I heard in this particular comments about Kuba Pulev is like he's gonna have to accept half of what initially was offered to him to fight Anthony Joshua. It's basically trying to convince the man Kuba Pulev like, is it even going to be worth it to fight Anthony Joshua now for even half of what you were going to make, or even less than half? That's an incentive for the man Kuba Pulev to reconsider if he really wants to fight the man Anthony Joshua. And Barry Hearn and Eddie Hearn, they have the power to call the shots on the man Kuba Pulev's payday. They could lowball the shit out of the man Kuba Pulev, and what do you know? Before you know it, Kuba Pulev says, "You know what? I'm cool. I'll wait till the fans come back." But then again, will Bob Arum allow that? I think it's going to be tough negotiating if there's going to be step aside money for Kubra Pulev, and it's also going to be hard to negotiate Kubra Pulev's payday if they don't accept step aside money and want to go ahead and fulfill their mandatory duty and fight the man Anthony Joshua. From what I've heard from Bob Arum, he says it's not happening. Kubra Pulev ain't taking no step aside money, and neither is Deontay Wilder. In the grand scheme of things, Bob Arum would love for the man, and he said that tell the whole world. He ain't hiding it. He's speaking it with his chest out. He's told the whole world that Kubra Pulev will beat the man, Anthony Joshua, and he will have two heavyweights in his stable, and as far as champions, and then he's going to make an undisputed fight between Fury and Kubra Pulev because Bob Arum also believes, and he's told the whole world this. He was saying it before the second fight with Wilder. He believes Fury will beat Wilder in the rematch. So Bob Arum, I just don't see it. And unless these guys are given a lump sum, like a large amount of money to step away, but who will be promised to fight first between after AJ and Fury if they do happen to fight for undisputed? Who's first in line? Will it be Wilder? Will it be Kubra Pulev? Will Wilder and Kubra Pulev fight each other in order to face the heavyweight champion for undisputed? I highly doubt it. Neither of them are going to risk the opportunity to fight for the world titles again. Because, simply put, if any of them lose, let's say Fury and AJ get it popping, and in the meantime, in between time, Kubra Pulev and Wilder get it popping too. Whoever loses that fight has no shot of getting a world title opportunity. So neither of them, I can see neither of them, Kubra Pulev or Wilder, accepting, you know, such a deal or step aside money in order for them two to fight. But I can see Kubrat Pulev and Wilder, if they do accept taking step aside money, I see them going to fight somebody else, somebody that they know they'll probably beat. And if they do that, then that's like working overtime. You know what I'm saying? Or how do you call it? How do people in the workforce call it? What do they call it? Time and a half. You know what I mean? You go get your time, money for your time, for stepping aside. And if you go ahead and fight somebody else for whatever millions or whatever they fight for, Kubra Pulev and or Deontay Wilder, they're gonna get a nice significant amount for fighting whomever in the meantime, in between time, to get ready to face the winner of AJ and Wilder. But we'll still have a conflict of who gets to fight the undisputed champion first. So I'm sorry, Eddie Hearn, I'm sorry, Barry Hearn didn't explain these type of things. He didn't explain or put in consideration that there's going to be a conflict of interest, especially for both fighters, Wilder and Fury, even if they do step aside. Who's going to get the first crack at the world titles? You know what I'm saying? What if the man Tyson Fury loses to AJ? What's the man Bob Arum gonna do? Just bank on the man Kubra Pulev? Good luck. Nothing against Kubra Pulev, but he ain't no spring chicken. Man pushing 39 years old. He's been in the game for a long time. Personally, I think the best thing to do, I'd like to see the undisputed fight between Wilder and Fury, but I think these guys are contractually obligated to fight Kubra Pulev and Deontay Wilder respectfully, and that's AJ and Joshua. I'm sorry, Fury. The easiest thing to do is go ahead and make the fights between the mandatory and Wilder and Fury do their third fight. Guess what? After that happens, the coast is clear for an undisputed fight. You never know. It could be an undisputed fight between Kubrat Pulev and Deontay Wilder. Anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? You know, I said it before and I say it again. You know what I mean? Wilder and Anthony Joshua dropped the ball. They didn't make the fight happen. And I had a feeling that one of them, or both of them, I didn't know who, I didn't know when, was going to lose before they get to fight for undisputed. Only because it's the heavyweight division, anything could happen. Shit, if it wasn't for Tyson Fury being a man of stature, that fight against him and Ottawa Lane would have probably been stopped if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was Ottawa Lane in that position. But there was too much money riding, and they couldn't stop that fight because Tyson Fury had a date with the man Deontay Wilder. So time will tell. We shall see. COVID-19 has thrown a monkey wrench in the game. Fellas might have to take pay cuts. I do agree with Barry Hearn as far as that's concerned. You know what I mean? Because of live gates attendance. Well, people look if they do the fight between Fury and Wilder in Saudi Arabia. Are American fight fans gonna want to pay $80 to watch fights at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. It's not gonna do as well. You know what I'm saying? Do American fight fans are they gonna want to pay per view to watch Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock? If the fight's not gonna happen in the U.S., if it happens in the UK, it'll be a 5 o'clock broadcast Eastern, 5 o'clock Eastern in the States, Eastern Standard Time. If it's in Saudi Arabia, it'll be like at 4 o'clock. Are American fight fans willing to pay $80 to watch two Brits? That's not happening, dogs. It's not gonna happen, especially in the afternoon. I can't see it, Mo. Can't see it, Mo. It's not happening. You know what I mean? So I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest, but I do know American fight fans are not gonna pay to watch Wilder Fury 3 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're not gonna pay to watch Anthony Joshua and Fury at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. I can't see it, Mo. And American fight fans damn sure ain't gonna pay to see Kubra Pulev versus Anthony Joshua. Oh, I forgot they fight on the zone, so that's not gonna be no pay-per-view thing. For those who still have the zone, I'm pretty sure a lot of people unsubscribed. Why would they keep the services? There's no boxing or sports going on. So what, you just got the zone paying for an app and they're not giving you live events? I can guarantee you, I know a lot of people have unsubscribed. This pandemic's thrown a monkey wrench in the game. Time will tell. We shall see. B March Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments. Let me know what y'all think about Kubra Pulev, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. And let me know what you think about Eddie Hearn trying to play matchmaker for the PBC and Top Rank. You know what I mean? Giving his opinions and suggestions and acting like Matchroom Boxing has all the best expertise as far as promoting, and they have the biggest war chest. Don't kid yourself, my guy. If that was the case, you'd be the number one promoter in the United States. USA, Jack. I said it before, I said it again. This is the Mecca of boxing, USA. Barry Hearn and Eddie Hearn, they trying to do their thing with their matchroom boxing USA. But I can guarantee you this, they still behind as far as the American promotional companies, whether it's PBC, Top Rank, and Golden Boy. They still behind. They still got some work to do. Good try. Doing too much, but not enough. I'm gone.